they're never going to repeal the AUMF of 2001. So now the House has voted to repeal the AUMF of 2002, the Authorization for the Use of Military Force, 2002, because that one gave the Americans, the Americans gave themselves permission to go to war with Iraq over lies about weapons of mass destruction, over numerous lies that Saddam had biological weapons, chemical weapons, nuclear weapons, that he was giving those weapons to Al-Qaeda, that he was sheltering Al-Qaeda, even though the two have nothing in common and are mortal enemies, as anyone with a basic, even just a basic understanding of the region would know. They repealed that in the House. I don't know if it's going to get repealed in the Senate, if it matters. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because the AUMF of 2001, which is for the war on terror, this one they will never repeal. Because that is their template. This is their blank check for every U.S. president since Bush, including Bush, to terrorize, to murder, to bomb, to slaughter all over the world. They've used the AUMF of 2001 against 19 countries that they admit to, right? Those are the ones that the Senate report admits to. 19 countries. And keep in mind, the AUMF of 2001 is like 2 pages, literally 2 pages. It's extremely short. It's designed that way. It has to be. It has to be abstract. You know why? Because that's how you get endless wars. That's how you get military-industrial complex on steroids. And it was already on steroids in many ways, right? But the war on terror, Bush's war on terror, which has been continued by every president since, is an excuse. And the way they rationalize it in the U.S., and again, I need to make this point here, like I do every time. Just because something is quote-unquote legal in the United States does not make it legal in the rest of the world, does not make it legal under international law. U.S. law is U.S. law. It's not international law, right? Even though most Americans think that, they're the center of the universe. So, the AUMF of 2001 doesn't mention Al-Qaeda. It doesn't mention bin Laden. It doesn't mention the Taliban. Nothing. It just says, anyone who is responsible for or who aided those responsible for the attacks on 9/11. I'm paraphrasing, but it's that's what it is. That's the gist of it. So it's designed that way on purpose, and it's still here, right? They're never going to repeal that one. Even the senators and the Congress people in the U.S. government who pretend to be anti-war and are like, oh, we can't have unchecked sweeping powers in the White House. The president can't do this, which is all blah blah. They support repealing the AUMF of 2002, of 1991. Yes, that's still a thing. I think they just repealed one from 1957, right? They just make one. Congress just gives the president a blank check and it just stays there for like a century. They'll talk about those, but they're never going to repeal the one from 2001 because that is their cash cow, right? That's how they justify the war on terror for themselves. They make the illegal legal. Even the surveillance program, Bush, Cheney, David Addington, his lawyer, he goes in and draws this up the day of 9/11, right? And it was secret for a while, but then they ended up making a lot of it legal, right? Presidential surveillance program, it morphs into PRISM, et cetera, et cetera. And the same thing with the wars, right? So just going back to the point you raised, they don't need a declaration of war. You don't need a declaration of war if Congress can just give you an AUMF, a blank check to use for decades and decades and decades and decades and kill millions and millions and millions of people. Why declare war? You can just use this crap. And even if you lie, like Biden lies, like Trump lies, they're never going to hold you accountable because the whole government is full of warmongers. The Democrats and Republicans are playing on the same team. These people are scum. They work for the military-industrial complex. And those who don't are too afraid to stand up to it. They talk a good one. But they're never going to actually do anything concrete. They can't because they are trapped in a system that is designed to stop anyone from doing anything concrete, right? So, the Capitol building, as much as they whine about what they've been through, they ain't been through nothing similar to what they inflict on the rest of the planet. The Capitol building exports terrorism, exports death and destruction and sanctions and worry and pain and starvation and desolation. That's what they export. They're murderers. They're murderers. That's what they are. So I have no respect for these people, right? It's just like the British Parliament. They may dress up in suits and, some of them even have fancy fucking wigs. And they dress each other by, the right honorable gentleman and the right honorable lady. I don't give a shit. This is all a facade. This is a farce. This is It's decorum. Deep down, they are the biggest criminals on the face of the planet. And when I say deep down, I mean, without the wigs. They are the biggest criminals on the face of the planet. That's what they are. They are thugs. They are murderers. They are responsible for so much destruction. We can never even know the full extent. No human could. It's beyond comprehension, right?